No fair would obviously be another big blow to Onondaga County. So let's bring right in now the county executive, Ryan McMahon, who's joining us live tonight. Ryan, I know you're really busy, so thanks for spending a few minutes with us on a Friday night here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm guessing you heard what the governor told me today. Not great about the New York State Fair, but I'm guessing not surprising either.
Well, I think it's a tougher decision for the governor to make today than it was a month ago. So certainly if you look at where we were in this pandemic over a month ago, it was probably an easier decision not to have the fair. We've made significant progress. And certainly as we continue to make progress, it will be a tough decision for the governor, and one that I can appreciate regardless of the decision. Certainly we hope there's a way to have the fair.
Let's look at the numbers you announced just about 2 hours ago or so. No new deaths. That's good here in Onondaga County, though still we've lost 184 people. 13 new positive cases, not huge, but I was struck by what Dr. Gupta had to say. She said the pandemic's still showing its power. In her words, the virus is clever and aggressive. It sounds like even though we've got good numbers, this is still a public health threat, and people shouldn't get too comfortable.
Yeah, and that's our message. Is we've made up tremendous grounds, and we've done that by physically distancing, by wearing masks, by being smart, good hygiene, washing our hands, and we can't be lax now. There's examples throughout the community. This has been a facility-driven virus. As we've seen what's happened in nursing homes and our senior assisted living facilities. Now we've had a couple cases throughout central New York where certain businesses have been impacted, and it impacted many employees in those facilities. So we can't let up. Our community spread numbers are getting better and better, and they're staying stable from phase to phase as there are more people interacting together. But certainly we are concerned about mask wearing and people getting too comfortable with the virus, thinking that it's over with. It's not over with. It's here. There's always going to be cases, but we've built up the infrastructure related to testing and tracing where we can live with this virus and fight it in real time.
I want to ask you about, you mentioned some of the businesses. We've reported on the outbreak in the Oswego County apple processing plant. 37 positive of workers that are in Oswego County, but 42, as we found out now today, of the workers at that plant that tested positive live in Onondaga County. Does that concern you at all, that all those workers are now coming back from that plant into Onondaga County? Maybe they stopped at a gas station along the way, a mini mart, something like that?
No, the reality is this is going to happen. We built up an infrastructure to quickly test and trace. In this case, we worked with New York State Department of Health and Oswego County's Department of Health and our health department, and we were able to quickly get roster lists, reach out to every employee. We got every employee at that facility tested. We quickly quarantined, did our contact tracing, and it's really a situation of a success story in that regard. That cluster built up. We quickly did what we needed to do. We're now very comfortable that we have everyone quarantined that needs to be quarantined, and we move on to what will be another cluster at some point. That's the reality, is that the virus is going to be here. It's going to be here in the future years, even when we have a vaccine. Now we got to utilize the infrastructure we've built and mobilize it very quickly. And we're going to do an executive order that allows the health department to get rosters from businesses with just one case of one employee at those businesses, so we can then contact all the employees at those companies and offer testing.
You probably get way more than these, whether they're email, calls, tweets. We get plenty of these too. X store had patrons with no masks and the staff didn't do anything. This event's going on against guidelines, or this business is open against guidelines. Governor says it's on the locals to do the compliance. You guys doing that?
Yeah, certainly we didn't budget for COVID-19 mask wearing enforcement units in January when we didn't know about the pandemic, but certainly we are doing what we can do. We get these emails every day. And we have our law department sending out letters. It's easier to enforce this with certain businesses than it is people in public places, obviously. We do the enforcement on the business side of things in county government. The local law enforcement agencies deal with the physical distancing within their own jurisdictions. But we're doing what we can do. And when we get a complaint about a business that may have happened the day before, we reach out to them. And if we catch people in the act, we give them fines.
How many, just one last quick one before we go, how many businesses have you fined?
I'm not sure the exact number. I know
but there are some, right?
Oh, yeah. We find businesses, and some businesses that could not control their patrons with physical distancing made the smart decision to shut down for a period of time until things progressed with our fight versus the pandemic, where they could operate their business more safely with less rules potentially down the road. So we have fined people, not people, but businesses who have not operated safely. But again, it's very easy to say local governments need to enforce this or that. Nobody's provided us with resources to increase people. So we're doing the best we can under the circumstances.
Got many more questions to ask you, including funding and things like that, especially from the federal government, but we're out of time. So we're going to have you back, and we'll talk about that again another time. Thanks for joining us tonight, Ryan.
Thanks, Jeff.